say the sins of the father will be passed on. I'ma spend every dollar till the cash gone. Hope they remember my name once I pass on. I'ma leave you some jewels you can latch on.
So if I was 10 years younger, these are the two things I would have done to speed up my process to achieve the things that I want. Number one, I would have read more autobiographies as a kid. That's the first thing I would have done. The first thing. When I was a kid, I didn't read much. Keep it all the way 1,000 with you. Not until I became an adult, I started picking up books and reading. When I was a teenager, I didn't have time to read. I was too busy in the mall chasing women. I was too busy hanging out with my friends. I thought I was too cool for school. Reading was not my thing. I was trying to figure out how to get out of poverty. And like DMX said in Belly, them books ain't gonna feed your kids, dog. You know what I mean? You remember that line where DMX said to Nas and Belly? Them books ain't gonna feed your kids, dog. But he was wrong. Them books would feed your kids and will feed your kids if you just pick up the right books. Stop reading those sci-fi books. Stop reading those sexual books that intrigue you and turn you on. Stop reading those, you know what I mean, books that ain't educating you. You gotta read autobiographies. I read autobiographies from men that came and left footprints on this earth. Like Sidney Poitier. Books Malcolm X wrote. You dig? Books from Dick Gregory. Books from Andrew Carnegie. These are the books that I read. And I said, man, if they could do this with the little bit that they had, they ain't really had much. In the 1920s and the 1940s, Andrew Carnegie came to America as a Scottish immigrant, started a steel business, sold the business to JP Morgan, and became one of the richest men in the world? As an immigrant? Come on, man, stop it. And he had less than I have today, and he got it done. He got it done. His father couldn't deal with the transition of moving to America. He couldn't really cut it, and he ended up dying. Andrew Carnegie had to be the head of the household, going out there working, meeting a mentor, of course. It's very important. You want to have a mentor on this journey. Stop thinking you could do it alone. Stop thinking you could do it alone. You ain't that smart. Realize how dumb you are. And once you realize that and you accept that, then you'll be on your way to achieving your goals. But he got a mentor. His mentor helped him in the process of grooming him and developing him to be the entrepreneur that he was in his time. This was happening in the 1940s, man. They had little or nothing. And he came to America as an immigrant. Come on, man, you niggas was born here. You dig? You was born here. Of course, your ancestor was brought here on a slave ship. Yeah, we know that. So we all immigrants at the end of the day. But when you was born, you got a passport. That nigga traveled here. Helped build the Brooklyn Bridge. Sold his company to JP Morgan for $480 billion. You dig? Excuse me, $480 million. My bad. It's probably, if we exchange the money to today's time, it probably is 480 billion. You know what I mean? But he made it happen. So once I read that inspired me. I said, oh man, if he could do that, man, fuck, shit, I know I could be great. I know I could do something. If he could do that, I could do a fraction of that. I know I could do that. I ain't that stupid. I ain't that incompetent. If he could do that, coming from his humble beginnings, I know I could do that. And I know some of y'all gonna be like, oh, he's white. He had the white privilege on his side. Well, I'm gonna give you another motherfucker since you wanna think like that, because I know how you negative motherfuckers think. I'm gonna give you somebody else. Yeah, Sidney Poitier. He from my island, the Bahamas. came to America as an immigrant. Matter of fact, I would like to edit that part out. He didn't come as an immigrant, but he was born in Florida, but he was raised in the Bahamas. So it's just like he was an immigrant because he was born in Florida, raised in the Bahamas, so he had Bahamian background. He wasn't brought up in Florida. He didn't go to school in Florida. He came up in the Bahamas. So he's a Bahamian to me. You dig? So anyway, he came to Florida, moved to New York City, made a way out of nothing. Found a way. And if you know anything about the Bahamas, man, I ain't got to tell y'all too much about that. Ain't nothing was happening in the Bahamas in the 1930s, man. It's barely shit happening now. So imagine in the 1930s. So when he moved to Florida and then found his way all the way to New York City and he got into acting, never at one point in his life he thought he would be winning an Academy Award for Best Actor. Sidney Poitier won an Academy Award for Best Actor. He was the first Black African American, by way of the Bahamas, of course, the first Black African American to win an Academy Award for Best Actor. Come on, man. If he could do that all the way from a little rock called Cat Island, man, I know you could do a little bit more, man. I know you could have anything and everything you want, man. These people came to America and left a footprint on America that will be talked about for years to come. I'll be dead and gone. And they'll still be talking about Sidney Poitier. They'll still be talking about Andrew Carnegie. They'll still be talking about Marcus Garvey. They'll still be talking about Napoleon Hill. These are great men that lived on this earth at a time when they had really nothing at all. And their drive and their ambition and the way they thought made them be successful. You dig? So it's important for y'all to apply that. Number two, I ain't finished. I gotta tell y'all the second thing that I would have done to speed up my process in order to get to that bag faster. Because I know that's what you wanna do. You wanna speed up your process. This ain't the average things that the normal dudes might say, but this is what I think would have speed up my process. I wish I'd have talked to the elderlies a little bit more. What I mean by that is this. I wish I'd have sat down and spoke to somebody that was older than me, that had been there and done that. I wish I could have put my pride aside, spoke to my father and asked him questions about life. Not about just anything, just about life and the challenges that he faced and the challenges that I might face coming up in this thing called life. I wish I'd have talked to my grandfather. I wish I knew my grandfather so I can ask him the questions that I need to ask him, because if he lived to 90 years old, I want to know, how did he get there? I know he got some game for me. I know he got some jewels. I know he got some knowledge. I wish I'd have talked to my uncles a little bit more. I wish I knew all of my uncles so I can pick their brains, ask them more questions. Not just anything, but the right questions. You feel me? Because they got some game. They got some knowledge. Your pops got some game. Your grandfather got some game. Your mom's got some game. Your aunts got some game. Somebody you know that's older than you got some game. Put your pride aside. Put your ego aside. Holla at somebody that got some game. And pick their brain. Soak up that knowledge. Knowledge is power, but only if it's used. But it gotta be good knowledge. Because if you got knowledge, and it's bad knowledge and bad information, then you got bad power. But if you got good information, you got good knowledge, you got good power. You dig? It's not what you learn, but what you can remember that makes you wise.